and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. How's your summer going? Reading any fun summer books? You know, ones you could dive in to pass the time? You know, something fun? Well, one of my summer books this year is by an author that's been grabbing my attention lately, John Grisham. You know, the legal thrillers guy? Best known for works like The Firm, The Client, The Runaway Jury. Movie adaptations of this guy's work were everywhere in the 90s. I never read any of his work, but they sound like the perfect summer books. Stories about lawyers taking on high-stakes cases, seedy people who think they are above the law, and twists and turns to keep you turning the page. You know, fun! So I read the first book he has ever written. Oh God, was I wrong! This book is like a more brutal version of To Kill a Mockingbird. Sit back and relax as we dive into A Time to Kill by John Grisham. We open on a 10-year-old girl getting raped and left for dead.
Ooh, that's bad.
She is safe, and her rapers have been arrested.
That's good.
But her father, Carl Lee, decides to take justice into his own hands. He kills the two men and gets arrested himself.
That's bad.
Carl believes the system will treat him kindly for doing what any father would do.
That's good.
But there's a problem. You see, Carl Lee is black. The two men he killed were white, and the state he did it in is Mississippi.
Can I go now?
If convicted, Carl Lee will be sentenced to the gas chamber. His only hope is in young defense attorney Jake Grisham, who has never lost a criminal case. But as the news of the trial gains national attention and the racial tensions build, Jake sees he may have bitten off more than he can chew, as Jake's life and the people around him are put into mortal danger. Yeah, like I said, a more brutal version of To Kill a Mockingbird. Its portrayal of racism is a bloody sucker punch. From the first page, you are thrown into a place where the state of mind for several people are simply despicable. Though it isn't really a big shock when you remind yourself that the book takes place in 1984 in... A Time to Kill's portrayal of racism doesn't hold back. It is 100% unfiltered, not only with the people, but the setting of Ford County itself, down to the very placement of the buildings. The Ford County Courthouse was well into its second century, built after the Yankees burned the first one. It defiantly faced south, as if telling those from the north to politely and eternally kiss its ass. You get a sense, even though it's been decades since the passage of civil rights, that there is a mutual understanding of as long as you don't mess with us, we won't mess with you. Reading this book made me really uncomfortable. I was raised to not look down on people based on their skin color, never seeing racism in its true form. Here, there were moments where the hate got so bad, I had to put the book down just to digest that is what some people think. Believe me, some of it is downright brutal. Which all begins to boil over when Carl Lee shoots and kills two white rednecks in the county courthouse. You can't blame the man. The two raped his daughter. In fact, there are many people who see him as a hero. But let's not forget. So, if you were white, you would most likely go to trial and most likely be acquitted. The rape of a child is a horrible crime. And who's to blame a father for rectifying the wrong? A white father, that is. A black father invokes the same sympathy among blacks. But there's one problem. The jury will be white. So a black father and a white father would not have equal chances with the jury. But that's where Jake comes in. The reason Carly even killed the rapers in the first place was after a talk with Jake if he could get him acquitted. Jake tells him since he is black, he wouldn't have much of a chance. But when asked the question if it was his daughter, would he do the same thing? Which for many people, including Jake, is yes. Plus, a lot of people in Ford County respect Jake for helping them out in their time of need. He was well liked and accepted by the blue collars, most of whom at one time or another had found their way to his office for a will, a deed, a divorce, a defense, or any one of 1,000 other problems. Jake had a way of cutting through the excess and discussing the meat of any issue. While respectable, Jake is still a lawyer with career plans. When he takes the case, he knows what's at stake. But with the murder getting major publicity, Jake knows that this case is the big one. There will never be another one like it. It's the biggest. If I win, I'll be top dog in this part of the state. Unfortunately, that state is... which puts Jake and everyone involved under major scrutiny. Not only by the racist and black activists, but everyone from political representatives, journalists, and religious leaders riding the coattails of the case, each looking for a chance to move on up their chain of command, which builds alliances, enemies, backstabs, deceits, and betrayals on all sides based on whether a single black man will die. Which leads to seeing how the entire legal system goes from start to finish. And I mean all of it. Every single detail. Did I mention that John Grisham was a lawyer himself? It shows in the book. You really do get a sense that you are looking at the inner workings, seeing all the events that we, the public, would hardly see, as well as how unfair the system can be. The system reflects society. It's not always fair, but it's as fair as the system in New York, or Massachusetts, or California. It's as fair as biased, emotional humans can make it. Doing so gives us a clear idea of just how much is at stake. Make you wonder if the system will be in Carly's favor, as well as how much it drains him. What was he thinking? Sure, the boys had to die. He had no regrets. But did he contemplate jail, or poverty, or lawyers, or psychiatrists? Maybe, but only in passing. But the system was not working now. Of course, none of this would be happening if Carly's daughter wasn't raped. Now, there are a lot of articles and discussions about the use of rape in fiction, how it's used as a plot device to get the story rolling, disregarding the fact that the victim was raped. Of course, making the victim a little girl just feels manipulative, as a way to get our attention and to sympathize with Carly. However, the reason John started the book with a 10-year-old girl getting raped was because he got the idea from an actual case. When hearing a testimony of a 12-year-old getting raped, it became a spark when he asked the question, what if the father had murdered her assailants? Grisham would spend the next 3 years in his spare time writing this book, which, like many first-time novels, was rejected several times until getting published, but was a flop. It wasn't until Grisham became big with works like The Firm and The Client that A Time to Kill would be brought back to become another success. I can't condone Grisham's use of rape here, because we are shown several times how the events have affected this little girl, how it has left its scars on her psyche and the people around her. It is not an easy topic to discuss, but John at least gives it the respect it deserves. You can say that for most of the book. Till you come across lines like this. The large family-sized Kentucky Fried Chicken buckets were used in many of the churches. Seriously, the book has a lot of racist things, but most are at least brought up from a character's point of view. But that line is describing what is happening objectively. Black churches using KFC buckets for collections.
That's racist!
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's kind of messed up. How about, homosexuals? Go on. I feel sorry for them. Oh, hell no. They don't know what they're missing. Honey, you don't know what you're missing. But that's their problem. I'm looking for a word that starts with F and ends with U. In the end, these are minor problems, but they really do stand out. Though I shouldn't be shocked, considering John is from... A Time to Kill is by many accounts a very good book. You get a real sense of grandeur with the small town setting and how John handles a huge cast while never losing track of them. There's a real sense of urgency throughout as the pressures of the case begin to put Jake's life in peril, making you wonder if all of this is worth it. Its honest portrayal of racism is revolting, but used to give us a sense of how a case like this can get out of hand really quickly. Don't be shocked if you feel the need to take a shower now and again. Lord knows, I do. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about A Time to Kill? Well, after all that, I'm feeling the need to do something a little different. I can't wait to tell you guys about this one. Till next time, have a nice day.